Good morning, y'all. Now, I said I was going to share how to dye with the butterfly pea flowers. I have a jar full here, and then I have a tea ball and a mason jar with some hot water in it. And I'm just going to fill this tea ball up with these little flowers. Now, these are literally just dried butterfly pea flowers. And I'm going to be using this mix to dye paper for journals. These flowers produce a lot of color. I mean, a lot of color. Now I'm just going to drop this down into the hot water, and you can see, or you'll be able to see here in just a second, how quickly the color starts pulling out of these flowers. I'm going to just spin this jar around and look, already color. Already lots of color coming out of these flowers. Now, this is not super hot water. I can still touch this water and not get burned. Just playing around. Okay, it's been maybe a minute and a half. Look at the color on this napkin coming out of those flowers. So I'm just going to let this steep a little bit longer, and I'll get, oops, it happens. I'll let this steep a little bit longer, and there we go. I think I let that sit for about 2.5, maybe 3 minutes. Not very long. And this is just some thin copy paper that I put on a cookie sheet. This cookie sheet I dye paper with all the time. And then I have a natural sponge here. Use whatever you have. You can use your hands. But notice I am wearing gloves, and that's because if you don't want to look like a Smurf when you get done, because these flowers dye everything, and I've made that mistake before. Put some gloves on. Unless you don't mind walking around with blue or purple hands for a day or two. Now, you can definitely pull a lot more color out of these flowers. I've actually been able to dry these flowers and then put them in boiling water. After I've pulled color out of them, re-dry them, put them in boiling water, and dye additional paper with it. They're just super intense. And I didn't let this sit very long because I'm trying to find the correct color or color close to the journal that I'm currently working in, and I'm hoping that this is going to be a good match. So I'm just going to continue on layering paper, adding my flower water to it. I flip it over, add a little bit more color to this side, and then I'll just continue doing this with layer after layer of paper until I use my water up. And then I will put these onto a baking rack so that they can drain and dry, and I can peel them off in layers. So I'm just going to continue on with this, and then I'll be back to show you how this turned out. Okay, this is the color that I ended up with, and I was a little bit worried that I didn't let the flowers steep enough, which is fine because this is where we can start making it darker. Once you get too dark, you can't go lighter, but if it's too light, you can go darker. So I'm just going to, I made some more water and I let the flowers steep longer, and I did get a deeper color. So I'm going to take my sponge again and I'm going to add another layer of color on top. And you can see here how much darker my second mix is than what my first mix was. Now these are the same flowers that I originally steeped. I never changed the flowers out that were in the tea ball. So these flowers produce a ton of color. Okay, now I have 2 sheets that are almost completely dry. And I'm pretty happy with these. I think this is what I'm aiming for. So I will just continue on. Also, this is the napkin that I had my jar sitting on, and look how pretty it is. This is going to be really nice to make something out of. The bottom's still wet, but man, that came out nice. Thanks for watching, y'all. I'll be using these in my journal.